Righto, time to go.
It's not flash, we pushed on too far and now the pub's shut. It's 10 past 10. I reckon you're a bigger bogan.
We did have one mirror when we left. It's about at this point you really question your life choices. I'm doing this for fun, so how bad can things be? Righto.
It's most definitely going to catch on fire.
Pretty bad. Righto, all else fails. Just don't forget, when installing new suspension like this, make sure you lube your pin. You never want to go in dry. Well, how's that? Last episode I spoke about getting the angle fridge from the tip. We wired a 12 volt Anderson plug straight into the 12 volt power supply, pulling it apart, putting it back together. Took all of about 2 beers with a mate, and literally that was all that was wrong with it. It didn't have a lead. We plugged it in, it ran all day in the sun. I had the ute out the back, just give it a good test, froze a bottle of water in the sun, and yeah, I can't believe people throw these things away. Icy cold beer, and it's already patinaed, ready for the back of Lance when Lance is ready for the fridge. So if you're enjoying the Lance content, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a mate. I'm having a ball in here doing it, and it's only because of your support that I can do this. So thanks again for everyone that has supported us, and if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's keep going. Right, this episode we're going to do a custom winch bar. But before we do, obviously you can see Lance has been turned around in the shed, and to do that I had to put 4 wheels back under him. There was a lot went into just getting to that spot. So we'll run a time lapse now, get you guys up to date on what's gone on since last episode. We have been really busy, but I don't want to bore you guys. Just a quick montage of getting Lance back into 4 wheels, and I'll see you after that. Righto, obviously I can't put the axles back in at the moment, so the bearings are exposed. Good little trick, especially if you lose a bearing cap off your trailer or whatever you're towing and you're on a dirt or dusty road or even a main road. You don't want to get dust and crap in your bearings. So we've gone for the old stubby holder. This is a high quality smart touring system stubby holder, no doubt. Yeah, so that's a good trick to keep the dust and shit out of your bearings if you lose a bearing cap. In my case, just because I can't put the axles back in. So anyway, we'll spin him around and then onto the bull bar. Start him up. This counts as another driving Lance. Pretty exciting. It's always exciting to drive Lance. I'll have to put him forward drive obviously because there's no rear axle, rear diff, nothing in the diff housing, bar bearings. So it should make the steering extra heavy today. This will be quite the mission. So as you can see, there's been a fair bit of work going on just to get Lance back on his feet. Now it's time for a custom front bar. No more nuts and bolts, no more wire wheeling. Let's get into something creative. I've got a really cool design for this, and all 4x4 spares was sending me a really nice winch as a bit of a showpiece on the front of Lance. Look, it's not going to be used for quite a while, but I really want to put something nice on the front of him, and when it does come time to use it, you know, I've got something quality on there. So without further ado, let's get into this front bar. I'm pumped to do something creative. Let's go. Okay, so I've been to a local steel shop and I've had a piece of channel bent up out of 4mm steel.
Hey mate, how you going?
Yeah, good, all done?
Yeah, all done for you.
Now I just got to go to town with the angle grinder and my crappy welding, which should be sweet. Cheers. I think it'll be heavy enough. I was trying to make it, you know, overkill it, and 4mm, although it is quite heavy, I probably could have gone a bit heavier. So when we finish our design, we might put some extra bracing in there. Look, I just want to be able to push it against the tree, and you know, I don't want to be able to damage it. So we'll overkill it, that's for damn sure. So the plan is, I do have a bit of a rough idea in my head. I've marked the center line on the bar. It is oversized, so we can cut the ends off it to how we feel it needs to look. I'm going to mark where these chassis plates end, where these fish plates come out, and then we're going to taper the ends back on both ends, obviously. I've got a piece of plate come in towards this chassis member. We've got to pick up a couple of bolt holes back here further. That will give me a nice mounting position for a winch, and then I can further brace underneath it where the winch bolts down. We get a nice piece cut, plasma cut probably out of, you know, 10mm plate for the fair lead to mount to. And then the whole thing I plan on getting sandblasted and a textured black powder coat, as I will with the rock sliders or side steps when we build them. So that's the sort of design that I've been visualizing in my head. Nice, simple, clean design, really to show off and showcase the winch. Like I said, we're gonna get that grill powder coated the same, really do some nice little things to it, and obviously keep the patina. Let's do it. Righto, we'll put a bit of weight on that, bend it up so those cuts close up. We'll put a couple of little tacks on, and then the first trial fit. Always forget the earth cable. Oh dear. The work keeps better now. Okay. Alright, so a bit of a proof of concept. There's no accuracy in that. I just welded the cuts together where they come together respectively. So we'll chuck it on the U and we'll find the sharpest one, so the one with the most angle in it. We'll draw that on the ground and then open the other one up to suit. That'll make sense when I do it. But we'll chuck him back on the U and just see how that's going to look for, you know, if I bend it back too much, or we can open him back up again. We'll just go with the one with the least angle, if that makes sense, and we'll open the other one up to suit it. And then I think just to give a little bit more clearance to the tyre, we'll take a little bit out of that. So I might finish it sort of not quite to the outside of the tyre. I'd rather it be a touch short than overhang the outside of the car. So I'll run with that, I'll draw it on the ground, and we'll use that as a reference and weld up the other side. Okay, so you can see you've lost the pencil line on this side. We've got the pencil line all the way down the front, and then the pencil line opens up away from this end. So we just nip these two welds and let this end open up ever so slightly, and then it'll be completely symmetrical. All right, second trial fit done. I think that angle will be all right. A little bit of a design on the ends. We'll cut them up with the angle grinder, chuck him back on again, and then see how that's going to work with tyre clearance. I'm really happy with the look of that. Cut the ends off and go to town with the welder now, grind it back. That's pretty well the basic design I was really after, something quite simple. It'll be a bit more elaborate where the winch sits, and I'll give it a bit more shape in the middle. So we'll keep welding and grinding for the foreseeable future. Well, that's the basic bar done. I'm wrapped with that. I really enjoy this part of the project, being able to create something from scratch. There's a lot of work in it. It's very fiddly. There's a lot of grinding, welding, grinding, welding. You got to fill all those little pinholes up. That's what that little bit of blue texture was. As I was grinding it back, I marked them just so when I go back with the welder I can see all the little dots. So next will be to weld a bit of a plate in there for the winch to sit on, and somewhere for the fair lead to sit, obviously. Don't go anywhere. It'll be a new day for me, but it'll be just in a second for you guys. Righto, I'm back. It's definitely not the next morning though. It's about a week later, so much so that that bar we just started has now got surface rust on it. Life gets in the way, and actually started another little project, so we had to put Lance on hold for a little bit. Not only that, the winch we're putting on that bar, we won't get till about mid-March, which I didn't realise at the time when I was talking to the guys at All 4x4 that it was that far away. But it's a new model. They want to give me a new model to, you know, showcase on the front of Lance, which stoked for that. I'm really excited to get that. And look, you know, I really only started the front bar just to do something a bit more fun. So that's on hold again. Yesterday afternoon, I got a phone call off my mate. Let's put that locker in the centre. So I chucked everything in my ute, flew up to his workshop, and we'll roll the footage now, and let's see how that went.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell people that we know how to do it when we don't know what we're doing. Are you putting that on the video now?
Well, cruising home, it is 7:30 and I definitely don't have diff housing with the locker installed in it. We had major issues. Pinion flange was wrong and the pinion bearings were nothing like it. From all reports, I thought it should have had a crush washer as the setup for the pinion bearings and pinion, but it seems to be a solid pinion. We weren't expecting that. Old Lance is throwing a few curveballs at us again. I'm starting to wonder what actual rear diff is in it. Anyway, I've got the bearings, the original bearings out of it now, and we'll get the part numbers and get them matched up. But I'm fast learning this is how building cars goes, and you got to take it on the chin. Get up in the morning and forget it happened and get the right parts. Shit happens. Time to go home and have a freaking beer. So as you can see, I was pretty dejected yesterday afternoon. Look, it's getting to the point where Lance has got no roof, it's got no rear centre, it's got no rear driveline really other than the wheel bearings. I've got a half finished winch bar.
haven't really started the electrics. There's so much, I don't know what, you know, I'm pretty sure anyone that would do a car project like this would get to a point and go, holy shit, am I getting in too deep here? So it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster sometimes when you're doing these things, but I mean, it's all part and parcel of it, and I really just need to plug along. So today we're going to pull Lance apart even further. Like I said, I've got a bit of a roadblock here where, you know, I'm waiting on the roof, I'm waiting on the winch for the bar, I'm waiting on getting the correct bearings and the pinion flange for the rear diff. So there's so many roadblocks at every turn. We're going to try and drive the back of Lance up onto the car ramps, lift the front up as high as possible, and make a bit of a frame up to hold the front of the chassis up off the ground, because I'm going to have to do some wire wheeling upside down underneath the car, which is not something I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to have that chassis and all that running gear underneath finished, because it has been a filthy, dirty, hot, sweaty job, and today is going to be one of the worst. I won't get it finished today, that's for sure. So I've got a bit of an idea of how we can build a bit of a frame to lock over the ends of the chassis using a few offcuts from that winch bar we started. So there's no more putting it off. It is time to pull the front end apart. Lance will be immobilized once more. Whoa, that was sketchy without brakes. Ah! Okay, handbrake on, ratchet strap the wheel to the ramp. That's not going to roll forward. I'm happy with that. And we'll jack the front up. Oh, and it's freaking tight. Okay, I've got a couple of offcuts off the front bar. That end is actually a little bit snug. This one will work. The plan is to just wrap it around there and weld a post down underneath it, and obviously cross brace it back the other way, sit it back down on that frame, and then that gets me up underneath it. It's probably 800 off the ground now. Yeah, it'd be much easier to work on that way. Look, I'm not trying to make this look sketchy. This will be safe. I don't want to get under it if it's no good, so we'll make it nice and strong. It's not worth losing life over, that's for damn sure. That'll give me heaps more room to work underneath it. Once all the wheels and the axle come out, it'll start to get fairly light as well. So, no, she's that's the tyres moving at the back. The front's solid. No, I'm pretty happy with that. Sweet. Let's go crazy and start ripping her apart. Yes. Oh. That's what you get when you don't use the correct tools. Really need to get some impact sockets, and we'll have another crack. Yes, I know you should undo the wheel nuts before you jack a car up. Honestly thought the impact driver just would have whizzed them off. Oh, Lance, you got me again. Give me a minute, I'll sort this out. Righto. Okay, angle grinder. I've never ever had to cut a wheel nut off any car I've ever owned. That is insane how tight that is. That is a reasonably big 1/2-inch drive Milwaukee rattle gun. That usually just undoes everything. So then I've had the bar on it. I just spun the socket on the actual, like an impact style socket. So the angle grinder's coming out. I win. Man, that fought me all the way. That's what's left of the stud. So if that's any indication of how the rest of it's going to come apart, it's going to be a long, hot afternoon. Especially all your tie rod ends and that, you usually have to smack them out. I might not be able to show a lot of this, there might be too much swearing, but we'll keep going. Well, this is definitely one of those, what the friggin' hell am I doing this for fun for? Surely there's better things to do for fun, but here we are again. back under Lance, crawling around in the dirt. Let's him in the shed this time.
Look at that. That's just made for a 12mm spinner. Things like that are really starting to excite me. It's pretty weird, I know, but when you're trying to do the impossible on a very rusty, corroded old Land Cruiser, any little win you have is a bonus. We'll get that out. Right guys, we're going to leave it there. I've got a freaking mess to clean up. I'm filthy, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. Good excuse to go into the aircon and do a bit of editing this afternoon. Look, this episode I've really learned a lot about building a car. I bet you a lot of guys out there watching me when I said, you know, I'll have this registered by June, probably knew how big a task that would be. I'm not saying I've given up on that, but I could see it's going to be a bigger job. I have so many little projects started on Lance now. It's hard to keep your head and not let it get away from you. We're going to keep pushing on. I'm not going to give up. No dramas. But just mentally is a bit draining when I just like to see something finished. I know it will happen, but just for you guys out there that have built cars or thinking about doing it, there's so much shiny stuff on YouTube. Like I've said about the traveling thing. Look, I really want to show you the ups and downs of this because this is what it's all about. The hardest parts of this will make it so much more enjoyable when it's finished. Like, you got to do the hard yards to really feel like you've achieved something, and this is no different. So next episode, we will get that locker back together and back into Lance. I've got the right parts coming through, all 4x4 spares, then we can finish putting that diff back together. I will film that for you guys. Look, it's not going to be a how-to because I don't want to tell someone the wrong thing. Me and my mate is a mechanic, but he's never done one before, so we both enjoy the challenge of putting it together and seeing if we can get it right, which we're confident we can, without the extra stress of, you know, this is my daily driver. So that's how we're going to attack that, and I'm really just want to have a go at things. If they break, they break. At least I've tried. That's the whole purpose of this whole build anyway. So yeah, lock it next time. We'll finish that, and look, I'm going to be doing a lot of wire wheeling, a lot of painting. I will cover the front axle housing and swivel hubs. That's a different facet to the rear. Got a funny feeling that the CVs don't feel real good in that. I was hoping not to pull the diff center out of it, but if the CVs are sad, the whole lot could be sad. So we could be going down a full axle rebuild again. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, shoot over to smartsteeringsystems.com.au. Heaps of products on there if you go four driving, camping or touring. Grab yourself a hat. Any little bit of support we really appreciate. And sing out if you've got any ideas or any questions. We're happy to answer all those. Don't forget guys, you only live once. Get out there and enjoy it. See you next time.